Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story of what if Naruto mastered Kurama's chakra earlier. What if Naruto gained control over Kyuubi chakra? During the month of training for the finals of the Chunin exams, what if Jiraiya taught more than summoning? Watch as Naruto takes the whole world by storm with near unstoppable power and unmatched potential, but when the chips are down, it's all or nothing against hidden threats and godlike enemies. Will he survive? Before we start, thank you for all the support, it really means a lot to me. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and check the description for the creator of this great fanfic. And also, as I said, I will be changing the story title to What If Naruto Power of the Tailed Beast, so don't forget that. Let's continue. Chapter 24. Bonds Part 2. Ready to hate me even more? Time for some shit that no one has done before. Ha 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 ha. Please enjoy. Naruto walked into the meeting room of the Department of Homeland Security with a broad smile on his face. Just yesterday he had finally connected with Hinata, and much to his surprise, she was much more outgoing than he had remembered. After his meeting with Hiruzen and Danzo, Naruto met up with Hinata and they both went to the Hyuga estate. That was where things got interesting. Flashback. Naruto walked alongside Hinata, who was almost glowing with joy as they walked into the Hyuga estate. The guards hadn't questioned them. After all, Naruto had been a regular visitor over the last 2 years, most of the time they would even greet the young man. Today, however, they knew better than to even think about stopping him. Hinata was next to him, and if the look of happiness on her face and the smudged lip balm on Naruto's were any indication, they had been kissing. One of the guards, a branch member named Ko, handed Naruto a handkerchief as he walked by, motioning to the young special Jonin's face. Naruto had the decency to blush as he quickly wiped off his face, all the while Hinata was happily giggling. She couldn't help but think that Naruto was cute when he was flustered. Flashback within a flashback. Alright class, before I let you go today, I have one last assignment. Stated Iruka, who was on the receiving end of some frowns and groans. Shut it, you brats. Anyway, all you have to do is take a note card and write the name of the person you would want to spend your last day on Earth with. After you're done, leave it face down on your desk and you're free to go. Iruka was actually doing this because Naruto and Shikamaru had fallen asleep in class and he knew this would piss them both off, but he had to admit, he was interested in who everyone wrote down. Kakashi had once told him that in order to help teach, it was best to understand the people he was teaching. Of course, the cycloptic Jonin had meant for Iruka to better understand Naruto, but it helped with all students. He turned to see Shikamaru lazily write something and get up, Choji following behind them. Kiba and Sasuke followed as well as most of the class. While the rest of the class wrote their answer and left, Iruka and Hinata watched Naruto fold his paper into a paper plane, which he tossed into the air before exiting out the window. Hinata changed her answer and left, leaving Iruka alone to ponder exactly why Naruto had folded his paper and thrown it. He knew the boy had a strong connection with the Sandaime, and he even spent some time with Shikamaru, Choji and Kiba. After everyone had left, Iruka began picking up the pieces of paper. Naruto had been the name on Hinata's paper, slightly obvious that the quiet girl had a crush on the blonde. The rest of the papers had been expected. Naruto's had been blank, confirming that Naruto either didn't see anyone that fit the bill, or was a loner like some thought. Family members and friends made up the remainder of the names, until he got to the last paper. Dobi. End flashback. Naruto found himself in Hiyashi's office, Hinata by his side and Neji guarding the door. Naruto hadn't realized it yet, but Neji had become the head of the branch family, like his father before him. Hiyashi looked over Naruto. It wasn't hard for him to see the lip balm that the young man had missed, or the slight nervousness in his posture. He would never admit it, but he took an amount of pleasure in seeing the usually infallible young man so nervous. Hinata, you have just returned from a mission. I assume that you have good news to report. I do, father. Myself and Naruto-kun have begun a relationship. Stated Hinata confidently, catching Heishi off guard by the boldness and suddenness and making Neji choke. I see. Stated Hiyashi as he looked over Naruto. He loved the power he had over Naruto right now. The usually confident and headstrong Naruto was almost unflappable usually, but right now, he had the boy where he wanted him. She is to be home at reasonable hours, unless staying with you. When available, you will eat one meal a week here. Should she become pregnant, you will wed her within 1 month, and should you interlope in my clan compound, you will be quite about it. We have no room for your howls of pleasure. Neji, inform the elders I have approved a suitor for Hinata. Flashback end as Naruto walked to his seat, he looked around and saw that the room was full. His spot next to Shino was empty, as was the spot next to Hana where Hinata would sit if she hadn't been on clan business. Most likely still signing the paperwork for his courtship of her. Before he had the chance to sit down, Danzo entered the room. Danzo stood at the front of the room and waited until Naruto had sat down to begin speaking. As you all know, yesterday morning we were invaded by ninja from a country thought long gone. At 11 o'clock, ninja from the land of Sky breached the village and made several attempts to damage us. Thanks to the timely intervention of Naruto Uzumaki and Jiraiya of the Sannin, the village took minimal damage and the land of Sky was defeated later that day by squads 1, 2 and 6. During the operation, Uzumaki succeeded in delaying and eventually killing the leader of the assault, destroying their base and much of their forces while the remainder of Squad 1 removed the threat of their naval fleet. Squads 2 and 6 handled the remaining enemies. Danzo allowed a short cheer to run through the room, before continuing. However, just this morning there have been reports of ninja matching the description of those responsible moving throughout the elemental nations. We fear that these men and women are attempting to reform the land of Sky, or perhaps join another village to regroup and attack us again. On top of this, the joint exams are taking place in Kiri in less than 1 month's time. Naruto, come address the room. In a moment Naruto moved from his seat, taking his place at Danzo's side. The newer recruits had a look of adoration on their faces, while the veterans all gave signs of acknowledgement to the blonde. Because Kakashi is out of the village right now, myself and Shikamaru Nara will be handling his duties. While I'm absent from my team, Shino Aburame will once again be leading Squad 1. Shino will be co-heading the intelligence division with Shikamaru Nara to allow him to assist me. Over the next month we will be conducting security sweeps through and around the village. Squads 2 through 6 and Squads 8 through 12 will all be on rotations. Squad 7 will be assisting in the military police as well as the remainder of Squad 1. Danzo said, getting a nod and a few groans from the room. The intelligence division will assist the interrogation division on gaining knowledge of the teams for the Kiri exams. The Jonin exam team will be myself, Shino Aburame, Ibiki Morino and the alternate will be Mebuki Haruno. The division's Chunin exam team will be Hinata Hyuga, Ino Yamanaka of the interrogation division and Sakura Haruno of the intelligence division. When not on missions they will be training for the exams. Any questions? Is it true that a civilian has been connected with the Sky invasion? Questioned a man near the back. An investigation into that rumor rendered a false claim. The civilian that had been rumored to have aided the enemy has been cleared on all counts. Danzo said. The man believed to be guilty was framed by the leader of the Sky Ninja, Shino, a wandering medic who was a Jonin of the land of Sky during the Second War. Does this mean that we are suspending the search for Sasuke Uchiha? Questioned Asuma, who is still assigned as a co-leader for Squad 2. The search for Sasuke Uchiha is to be treated as an active side mission, but as of last night, the operation was suspended. Danzo replied. The operation will resume when the exams have passed, or until viable information is received on his location. Lord Danzo, what was your summoned creature? That's the Baku, stated Naruto. The rest of the information on it is classified. What are the rumors that the daimyo is coming to assess the damage to the village? Lord Taiyuki will be visiting in 3 weeks' time. He will arrive with his eldest son and they will be staying at the Hyuga estate, before accompany my group to Kiri to consult with the water daimyo over a non-shinobi debt. Stated Naruto. While in the village he will be guarded by the Hyuga branch family, my group will be providing guard to and from Kiri. Oto, damn him. Damn that fucking brat. Raged Orochimaru, a messenger dead at his feet and the room around him being torn apart in a rage. Kabuto, who felt the emotional turmoil that pulsed across the cursed seal, was sprinting towards the room. When he finally reached the room, he found Orochimaru standing next to what remained of an undetermined amount of sound ninja, unfortunate enough to be caught in the Sannin's rage. Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto. The brat. That fucking brat killed Shino. Orochimaru seethed as he moved back to his throne. Kabuto moved to a scroll he had found on the floor, looked it over and immediately knew what had his master so angry. Konoha. The land of Sky invaded yesterday morning, On the 5th, caused almost no damage due to the appearance Naruto Namikaze, Danzo Shimura and Jiraiya of the Sannin. As of the 6th, Naruto Namikaze and his squad have destroyed the Sky Ninja Army, the base, and killed Shino, believed leader of Land of Sky. I'll get more information is in leaks. Your soldier inside Land of Sky. But that shouldn't be possible, he has no means of aerial combat. How could he, Kabuto? Enough. Orochimaru commanded, scaring the medic with the backlash of chakra through the seal. It's apparent that he's become too strong to allow him to be unhindered. Add it to the bingo book. Naruto Namikaze is now listed as an S-rank criminal in our bingo book. Capture on sight. I'm going to hand this little bastard to Akatsuki on a silver platter. Understood, sir. What should I do about Sasuke? He still hasn't broken, and without Shino, your body will start failing soon. Kabuto said. If he remains in control, then all the training that we have been putting him through could come back to hurt us. A dark sneer crossed Orochimaru's face. I'm tired of waiting for him to break. I'm going to break him myself. How, sir? Kabuto asked. I'm going to tell him the truth about Itachi. The whole truth. If that doesn't break him, then I'll give him to Hashi. That should be more than enough. Hospital, can you believe that idiot teammate of yours? Questioned Tsunade with a laugh. At this rate, he might surpass my grandfather. Sakura smiled lightly, continuing her sorting. Since she was accepted as Tsunade's student, Anbu had placed her as the go-between for the Anbu medical records. She spent most days either training with or simply helping at the hospital with Tsunade and Shizune. He was always the strongest. He survived Orochimaru. He has a bridge named after him too. How about the time that he farted in Kiba's face? Real strong move there. Ino said as she walked in carrying a stack of paperwork. Here is the latest batch of Jonin mental testing. They all passed, but something weird showed up in Kurenai-sensei's. I'll look it over later. Her family doesn't have a history and I doubt that she's mentally unstable. Tsunade said as she motioned Ino to sit in one of the chairs across her desk. Ino, have you been informed of the Chunin exams yet? Yes, Lady Tsunade. I'm teamed with Forehead and Hinata. There's no way we can lose. Stated Ino with pride. If Hinata turns out like the rest of the people in Naruto's life, she's going to get even stronger. Sakura said. That brat does bring out the best in people, just like his mother did. Tsunade said with a smile. Good thing he doesn't have her temper, people wouldn't recover if he went off like she used to. It was the reason I never taught her how to enhance her strength like I did with you three. Yay, Hinata isn't much better. Exclaimed Ino, she's more brutal when fighting than anyone I know. Remember when she punched a hole in that guy? Oh, that was child's play, I was doing that before I was 12. The real good one was when she picked up one bandit by the ankles and used him as a club to hit other bandits. Tsunade laughed. We have this Chunin exam in the bag. Smiled Sakura. Don't get overconfident, this year won't be like the years before. Tsunade warned. The best of the best are going to be there, just like you three, there will be Jonin-level genin at every turn. Danzo's office. 1 week later Danzo and Naruto sat across from each other. The large oak desk lay between them as Danzo looked over a set of paperwork that looked foreign to Naruto. Do you remember the lesson I taught you your first week in 7G? Questioned Danzo as he shuffled around paperwork. Yeah, you pretty much beat it into me. Winced Naruto as he rubbed his shoulder. I can see why you keep that cane. What was the number one rule? Questioned Danzo, hiding the smirk that threatened to cross his face. If you start with her first she will always come back for more. Questioned Naruto. No. Well, yes, but as long as that Hyuga girl breaths she will love you, so it's more a token of appreciation to start with her. Stated Danzo sagely. What was the first rule of combat? Kill it dead. Always finish off enemies and never leave a comrade behind. Good. Danzo said, his eyes snapping to Naruto. Have you come to an answer to the proposal? Flashback Naruto sat across from Danzo, the mood somber. What I am about to tell you doesn't leave this room. Danzo said with stillness in his voice. Naruto nodded and activated the privacy seal that he had placed on his chest, allowing him to activate it when needed. You may be given a genin team after you become a jonin. Stated Danzo. Your team would consist on Konohamaru Sarutobi, Hanabi Hyuga and one other that you will be allowed to pick. Why those two? Back when the villages formed, the Shimura clan and the Hyuga clan entered into a pact. They were to wed the clan heirs to prove their bond not only to each other, but to the village. Hinata's grandmother was the member of the pact with the Hyuga. After 3 years of marriage, when the male heir of the Shimura clan was unable to meet her requirements, she divorced her husband and married another male of the Hyuga clan. This broken pact placed the Hyuga in a difficult spot. If the pact was not restored within 1 generation, the Hyuga would be forced to leave Konoha, or surrender themselves as servants of the Shimura clan. The last 2 generations have not met the requirements of the pact. This generation will meet the requirements. But you are the last Shimura. Stated Naruto. Is your old ass going to marry a Hyuga? Are you going to ask me to be the best man or something? Would you shut up? Now. There are 3 more. This is the information that does not leave this room. Stated Danzo dangerously. Ibiki Morino is my grandson from my 3rd marriage. His father, Hiru, was my son. Enko Mitarashi is my granddaughter from my 2nd marriage. Her father died during the 3rd war. My last child, my daughter, is the result of a fling during the 2nd Great War with an enemy ninja. She was hidden in the Sarutobi clan to protect her, where she fell in love with the heir of Hiruzen. Stated Danzo. Kurenai is your daughter. No, you fool. The elder heir, Hashi Sarutobi, the firstborn. Stated Danzo. He died 10 years ago hunting for Orochimaru. But that would make Konohamaru. Yes. Konohamaru is the rightful heir of the Sarutobi and Shimura clans. My daughter is no longer a ninja of the leaf. Enko is marked with the curse seal and Ibiki is not considered a good enough match for any of his generation. Stated Danzo sadly. If Konohamaru does not marry Hanabi Hyuga, and an alternate is not found, the structure of the leaf will crack at its very foundation. What about you? You're still a viable member. There are elder women who were never married, you could marry them. I cannot. When she divorced me, I was removed from the list of suitable heirs. It was you. Naruto was shocked, too stunned for any rational amount of thought as he sorted out the information. After a moment, Naruto grew somber. Then Konohamaru is going to be married off. Will you lead this team? Flashback end. Yes. Stated Naruto. I will train this team should I be given them, but I can't bring them out on missions. I still need to lead Squad 1 and I'm too big a target. You will be able to appoint a co-sensei for the team. Stated Danzo. However, I want the best for my grandson. That means making him as strong as possible and making sure he and the Hyuga are happy together. No. He doesn't need to marry her. Stated Naruto. Make me the ward of your estate. Since you have no true next of kin, you can name me your inheritor, and I will be able to take Konohamaru's place in the pact. Unknown location. Itachi walked down an overgrown path through southern lightning country, his mind wandering. Pain had instructed Kisame and himself to split up to avoid attention. Itachi had thought it odd but had no reason to question Pain. Now his mind reflected back on his time as a leaf ninja. Usually he thought of his time in Anbu or Sasuke, but recently he had received word that Naruto had grown tremendously in power, enough for Orochimaru to fear him. Needless to say, Pain was less than thrilled. Itachi was sure that soon they would order him taken out. He wasn't sure how he would handle it, however, he would think of a way to prevent Akatsuki from harming his little brother. That brought along thoughts of his other little brother, Naruto. Itachi had watched Naruto from afar for the boy's entire life, ensuring that the boy was well cared for, and dispatching retribution the few times a few drunk villagers had tried to harm him. Flashback. Naruto, age 7, was walking down the street on his way home from his first day at the academy. Hiruzen had placed Naruto in the academy when Naruto had complained that several of the older students were picking on him. This put Naruto in class with those 2 years older than him, but Itachi had seen the hidden talent and drive in the blonde as he watched him that day. Take this. Naruto turned when he heard someone yell, only to be hit in the side of the head by a bottle, knocking the blonde out cold. Itachi didn't have time to retaliate on the man that had thrown it, as his captain, Kakashi Hatake, had the man already in custody and was probably earning his nickname of cold-blooded Kakashi. Just as Itachi moved to take Naruto to the hospital, he heard a voice below him. Father, that boy is hurt. Stuttered out the Hyuga heiress as she moved to Naruto's side, kneeling next to the boy. What happened to him? I do not know, Ko. Stated Hiyashi Hyuga. Bring him to the hospital. Flashback and Itachi had a small smile cross his face as he remembered that day. Even though Naruto was hurt, Itachi learned that he still had allies in the village. Itachi suddenly felt a pull on his mind, an indication that pain was connecting them through his powerful eyes. Itachi found a good spot to hide and allowed himself to join the rest of Akatsuki. One blink later and Itachi was standing before the projections of the rest of the members, he was the last one to join. A few seconds later, Pain began to speak. We are going to begin extracting the Nibi tomorrow at dawn. Kakuzu was able to grab her on a mission and she will be the first extraction. After this, Kakuzu and Hidan will travel to Iwa to begin scouting Han. Deidara and Sasori will begin their acquisition of the One Tail. Itachi and Kisame, I want you and Kiri. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki will be there in less than 1 month's time. Kisame, cripple him. Itachi, ensure that Kisame is not interfered with. Kiri Hotel Room 419, 3 weeks later. Man. You're the luckiest Hinata. You landed Naruto. This isn't right. Complained Ino, who had caught a glimpse of Naruto in his new outfit for the Jonin exams and immediately grew jealous of Hinata. Choji and Kiba had both made Chunin in the last exams, along with Neji, who was now training for the next Jonin exams. Lee had made Chunin about 2 months after his operation and Tenten had also been promoted in those exams. I'll be honest, I don't think anyone really saw it coming, and I know a ton of people are really pissed, and he's so hot. That body isn't even natural. You have no clue, half of the people that read this shit have stopped reading. Stated Shikamaru as he stood up and stretched, his Jonin flak jacket hanging off of his shoulders. What a drag. What? Sakura asked, before being waved off by Ino. He says stuff like that a lot. Ever since we were kids he's talked about terrible authors, and lazy writing. I think all the cloud watching has him seeing things. Ino laughed, getting a chuckle from Sakura and a small giggle from Hinata. Shika, remember the time you said that the lazy author was too erratic, and that it makes the story hard to read? Shikamaru simply shrugged his shoulders and left the room, lazily starting his journey to find his bride-to-be and her brother. After all, he was assigned to be one of the proctors along with Gaara. The Mizukage was so troublesome. As Shikamaru left the room, Sakura spoke up. You know, Hinata, I didn't even know you and Naruto had been spending any time together. It was pretty shocking when you two returned to the village and started being seen together. Ever since you took the break from Lady Tsunade's training, I haven't seen you much. Yeah, Hinata, give us the details girl. How did it all happen? Questioned Ino, fully into gossip mode. Well, after the Chunin exams, father began my training again. After a spar with Neji, I tried to mimic something Naruto did in the Chunin exams. Father recognized that I was much more relaxed and natural fighting in that way. That's how father suggested the brutal fist, which I quickly learned, too quickly actually. By the time that I had advanced to the point that my body couldn't handle going farther, Naruto and the team had returned from one of their missions. Hinata explained, her still meek and kind voice filled with calm confidence that continued to show how far she had come. To shorten the story, father had a few things he wished to talk to Naruto-kun about, though I only know the details about me. After that meeting, father invited Naruto-kun to dinner, and he hit it off with my family. He was able to converse with father, entertain Hanabi and even gained Neji's favor. Father invited him over again for some sparring sessions, and eventually Naruto began helping Neji and myself train. Did you finally admit to him then? Ino asked. I'm sure if you stopped interrupting her, she would tell us Ino. Sakura mock scolded. Anyway. Myself and Neji grew in strength, to the point that I was beginning to match Neji in spars. Father said he believed that it was the fact that the brutal fist style relies on water element movements, where the gentle fist is earth element based, but I, and even Neji, believed that it was Naruto. Hinata let out a small giggle into her sleeve. Naruto began hanging around more. Hanabi became bored with him, claiming that he was overrated because she had never seen him fight seriously. About a week after he really started spending time around the Hyuga clan, I began seeing that I would catch him looking at me from time to time, only to look away. I thought I was seeing things at first until some of the branch members began joking that he had a crush on me, but when one of the younger girls asked him, Naruto seemed confused and greatly troubled. Oh. I get it. Stated Ino, Getting confused looks from Hinata and Sakura. It's called environmental sociopathy. Because Naruto was an orphan and an outcast, he had limited access to situations where he would develop the emotional understandings that most of us take for granted. Naruto's only love interest growing up was Sakura, who didn't love him back. Without a stable background, he began to understand his crush on Sakura as the highest form of attraction he knew. Anything past that, or even anything that was different than that would have been new and confusing to him. I'll ask Dad if I should add that to his chart when we get back. So because he liked me, he wasn't ready to like Hinata? Sakura asked, who knew that Ino was incredibly gifted at reading emotions. With her knowledge of psychology and her father's training, Ino was one of the best psychoanalysts in Konoha, despite only just being a genin. There was a rumor that she was learning under Anko, but that was hopefully just a rumor. No one needed two attractive, nosy, slightly unnerving women in the village. No, you see, Naruto wouldn't have known what he was feeling was a high-level attraction. With his history, he would have likely turned away from those feelings because he didn't know what they were. Ino explained. Yes, he did. After that incident, Naruto didn't spend a great deal of time with the Hyuga for a while, though he had a lot of missions. Anyway, Naruto helped guard us when the Raikage and a few other Kumo ninja came for a meeting. Apparently, Naruto and Shino volunteered to do it free of charge. It was about 3 months after that when Naruto accepted again to guard us, this time on our diplomatic mission to Kumo. I can't say any mission details, but Naruto ended up getting hurt on the mission. I stayed at his bedside until he woke. I was going to try and get him to admit his feelings. Why didn't you just admit it to him? Sakura asked. Because Naruto is the type to barrel head first into everything, including emotions. Stated Ino. If he really does have a case of environmental sociopathy, then confronting him with emotions could lead to negative side effects. That's why Hinata was trying to get him to understand. Ino is correct. Though, I didn't have any time to do that. Within moments of Naruto waking up, he kissed me. Unfortunately, I was completely unprepared. I was so surprised that I left the room to get a hold of myself. When I returned a moment later, the bed was empty and he was gone. Stated Hinata. Oh yeah, he's done that before. I remember after he got the shit beat out of him in Wave, he slept for almost a whole day. When he woke up, he was out of the room in moments. It was the fastest I've ever seen him move. Stated Sakura. I know, I was our field medic during the year that Naruto was assigned to Sector 7G. I can't tell you how many times I had to have Choji pin him down so we could heal him. Remembered Hinata before continuing her story. I didn't get a chance to talk to him alone again for almost a year. Naruto was always on a mission or locked up. Any time we were alone on missions we just enjoyed each other's company, and I'd hope to catch him before he left again. It wasn't until the attempted invasion that it just happened. That sounds way too romantic to be Naruto. Muttered Sakura, getting a snort from Ino. It does, doesn't it? Stated Hinata, a smile on her face. Maybe we should start talking about strategies. Being an all-kunoichi team, we may be targeted first. Oto Sasuke awoke. Bright light filled his vision as he tried to cover his eyes, only to find his arms were bound to whatever he was leaning against. Same with his legs. My, it seems Sasuke is awake. Shall I inject the serum now? Questioned Kabuto. Sasuke blinked a few times trying to gain focus on the white-haired medic. Yes, I think that would be a fine idea. Stated Orochimaru, who Sasuke zeroed in on, only to become aware of the fact that Kabuto was now injecting him with something in his right arm. Suddenly, painfully, everything came into focus. Sasuke took in every detail as his body began to feel numb, Orochimaru's eyes bearing down into his as the Sannin grinned evilly. Now Sasuke, since you seem so eager to accept my training, I figured you would like to know what exactly it is you are fighting for. Stated Orochimaru with joy. By now you feel the effects of the sealing serum. A stimulant concocted by Jiraiya and Tsunade to allow perfect interrogation. While this serum is active in your body, everything from your neck down will be numb, too weak to even move. However, your eyes, your ears, even your nose, will all strengthen to levels similar to the effects of adrenaline. Sasuke tried to speak, only to find he couldn't. That I added myself, I don't like to hear screaming. Stated Kabuto. It just paralyzes your tongue and jaw, it will wear off in about half an hour. Thank you Kabuto. Now Sasuke, you wish to kill your brother for killing off your clan to you? Questioned Orochimaru, getting a glare from the Uchiha. Good, but there is something you must know Sasuke. Itachi was ordered to kill your clan. Sasuke's eyes widened, but he kept calm. The Sannin wanted something from him, so he would try to keep him talking. You see, the Uchiha had long been suspected of planning to take the village over. But it wasn't until Itachi, the good little Anbu he was able to find proof, did Hiruzen Sarutobi step in. Laughed Orochimaru, twisting the facts to try and drive Sasuke mad. Sarutobi-sensei ordered Itachi to kill your whole clan, and Itachi agreed, as long as his little brother was safe. Itachi killed every man, woman and child in that clan, except for you, because Itachi needed something from you Sasuke. Itachi needed the eyes of someone related to him, in order to obtain the ultimate Uchiha power, the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke sat shocked, his eyes flashing into the Sharingan from the emotional distress that he was feeling. His heart was pounding and his brain racking to cope with the fact that much of what he knew was nothing but a lie. But you see, Itachi was never your brother. Sasuke's eyes went wide as he stared at Orochimaru, his head throbbing and his vision pulsing as he zeroed in on the Sannin. Itachi Uchiha, or by his proper name, Itachi Namikaze, killed your family on order of the Hokage that his father took over for before sealing the Kyuubi into Itachi's baby brother, Naruto Namikaze. Shouted Orochimaru, hoping that with one final push Sasuke would snap and draw on the curse seal in an emotional rage. Sasuke was extremely close to doing just that, his mind blank from everything he had just heard. Try as he might to tell himself that it was all lies, he couldn't do it. His mind was too full of sorrow and shock, anger and fear and every other emotion flowing through Sasuke in quick succession as he tried to escape. But there is a happy ending Sasuke. You wanted to kill your brother, and you almost did. Itachi and you share a mother, but Itachi's father was Minato Namikaze. Naruto's father. You tried to kill your own brother. And it all stopped. Sasuke went still, his struggling stopped and his breathing regulated as his head drooped forward. Well, it seems Hashi won't be necessary at all. Stated Kabuto as he moved forward to check Sasuke's vitals. As the medic approached, Sasuke lifted his head, zeroing in on the white-haired medic with red and black eyes. Kabuto. No. Amaterasu. Muttered Sasuke in a dull, droning voice, Kabuto being smothered in black flames immediately after. Orochimaru quickly performed a fire seal, saving Kabuto from the flames before turning and trying to knock Sasuke out, only for Orochimaru to freeze as a dark black swirl began forming from Sasuke's right eye. Kamui. Was that worth last chapter? No. How about a review? Thanks for listening. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more what ifs and support the author. See you guys in the next video.